Hello and welcome back to Night Call. So we're in the process of role-playing hitting on a woman in a bar. Funnily enough, I don't have much experience of that. But we seem to be doing okay. We've, on night 3, we have a proper splattering of clues, but no real idea on who's behind it yet. Other than none of the suspects we have seem to fit the height profile. But we'll see where we go. Hopefully we find like a killer clue that kind of connects all the dots, but we shall see. Either way, we just told Claudia here that we like her laugh. You do? That's an odd compliment. It's true. Thank you. She closes her eyes and stays that way for a little while. A smile settles on her face. A warm, natural, and uncontrolled smile. Thank you. You were perfect. Unusually kind. She nods slowly. A few charming words. I think I got what I wanted. Your passenger sighs contentedly. She seems happy, relieved. You pull up in front of the address she gave you. It's strange. What's that? There's something different about you. You're not like other men, as if... She hands you her fare and slips you a tip. Don't refuse it, please. It means something to me. You nod. I hope to run into you again. You shiver. One last smile. Goodbye. She gets out of the cab. You watch her until she disappears into the building. Okay, damn, we got a good bit of profit from that. None of these people, like, I guess the angry old cop guy could potentially be a vigilante. But we have like a sweet gay guy who just wants to be happy with his husband-to-be. And now we have a miserable medical examiner who just wants to feel like a normal person for once. So none of these people are leaping out at me as being, oh, they're a serial killer, they've murdered everyone. Have we got anyone? Kind of need to, I think, maybe investigate some of these spots. So let's get a fare. They don't tell us where they want to go, though, which doesn't help. Let's see if we can get a fare that will take us closer over there, and then we can scoot between them all while still making some money. So where do you want to go, lady? When I eventually get there. Pretty much perfect, yes. I'm going to turns. Patricia Hossain. Okay, Patricia. A beautiful woman climbs into your cab. There is something sensual and comforting about her. Steady on, mate. No, I just missed it. But don't worry, I'm taking a cab. She's on the phone. Anyhow, I just wanted you to know. For a minute, you think she's talking to herself, but she leans over and whispers her address to you. Must have one of those Bluetooth thingies in her ear. I think you really enjoyed it today. As you start the cab, you notice a hands-free headset practically hidden by her thick head of hair. There you go. I'll massage his feet tomorrow and I'll let you do the rest. A small laugh escapes her. Oh, the other way around, sure. Oh, I don't like this. Cruz? It's normal to feel a little awkward at first, or uncomfortable, I mean, not knowing what to do. But you'll see. A couple more days and you'll get the hang of it. Anyhow, you should get to bed now. You need to keep up your strength. She stopped talking. Her phone call is over. She catches your eye in the rearview mirror and bursts out laughing. You look shocked. A little. Your passenger crosses her legs and gives you a playful pout. You're just like any other guy. Imagining all kinds of dirty things, of course, like I'm on my way home from a threesome. Something really hot. A mischievous gleam lights up her eyes, then suddenly vanishes. Sorry to disappoint you, but the truth is a bit more depressing. Actually, I was at my son's house. Say nothing, I guess. Excuse me is a bit like, what? I've been taking care of him since his accident. I'm a nurse. Oh, sorry. Don't be. You had nothing to do with it. You don't know that. She pauses dramatically. At least I don't think you did. You don't happen to drive a semi in your spare time, do you? A smile of dry amusement flickers across your passenger's face. Anyhow, he's been in a coma for weeks now. I like this lady. She's got a good sense of humour. Grade 2. Not a total vegetable, but not all that hearty either. So I had them move him to his place. Cruz and I are taking care of him now. Cruz? His fiancée. A lovely girl. Your passenger puts her hand to her mouth to smother a giggle. Totally inhibited, but sweet. Very religious. She prays in Spanish at his bedside every night. They've been going out for 2 years now, and I still don't think they've... She blushes. Well, you know. A brief silence. You find yourself trying to think of something to say. Yeah, just distract from the fact that you were just talking about your son having sex. How long have you been a nurse? A frown creases your passenger's forehead. If that's a roundabout way of asking how old I am, you lose. You start to apologise, then realise she's burst out laughing again. You're cute when you blush. I'll celebrate my 20th anniversary at the hospital in August. I started a few months after Tituan was born. I was young and attractive back then. Oh, you still are. What about you? How long have you been driving a cab? Not the most fashionable job in the world, and worse still, it affects your better judgment. She bursts into laughter. Anyhow, you're lucky you ran into me and not Cruz. She's so uptight she wouldn't have known what to do with herself. You want me to tell you something funny? Earlier tonight, when Cruz and I were washing Tituan, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Not exactly a pressure clues. My son is well over 6 feet tall, and Cruz is a cross between a matchstick and a Q-tip. So I was managing as best I could, rolling him onto one side and then the other. She was trying to help, though the truth is it's pretty hard for her to take. I mean, it's all new to her. It can't be that much fun. She was muttering religious mumbo-jumbo to herself in Spanish, Dios mío, and whatnot. And then just as I was rolling Tituan back onto his back, guess what? He got an enormous erection. Laugh. For once you start to laugh, your passenger joins in. The two of you enjoy a good long laugh. After a while, your passenger manages to catch her breath. A big old hard-on. How did Cruz react? She turned bright red, and then she pulled the sheet up over him as fast as she could. Your passenger marks a short pause to emphasise what's coming. But it looks even worse. Just like Casper the ghost. Peals of warm laughter fill the air. For a moment you are happy, as if a weight has been lifted. You put up to the address she had given you. You stop the cab and she hands you the fare. Thanks for the conversation. The ride went by really fast. She reaches for the door, then stops. You can sense she's really on edge. It's good to be able to talk. It's pretty unusual in Paris to meet someone so warm. Good luck. Good night. Nod. Good luck. She shrugged automatically, as if she didn't understand what you meant. Same to you. Shuts the door carefully, then walks away. Your eye follows, she climbs the steps to the door of her building. A moment later, she's gone. You feel something surfacing. Dark thoughts, pictures, memories. The bed sores she talked about. You notice a newspaper on the back seat. Your last passenger must have left it behind, or the one before. You grab it and put it away. Could come in handy. You turn the key in the ignition and drive away. We got a bit of a tip, but maybe I wasn't supposed to say good luck like that. That was a bit on the nose. Don't know. Anyway, look, we're right next to our investigation spots, which is cool. Wait for all the people to pop in. Read the newspaper. You pull out a newspaper out of your glove compartment and start leafing through it. Eventually something grabs your eye. It's a photo of an important French athlete, a well-known tennis player. He's just been arrested in Switzerland for embezzling millions of euros in image reproduction rights. You sigh. You turn the page and stop. You've read about a third of the newspaper. Keep reading. You stop reading and go back a few pages. You thought you saw something. It's a rather enthusiastic article about a bar named Napo. Make note of the information with interest. In your line of work, that thing can always come in handy. You only have a third left to read. Let's just keep going. As soon as you get to the page, you stop. Your instinct tells you to look at... It's an article about the recent police leaks incident that retraces another data leak. 2 years ago, a bunch of confidential police documents were accidentally released. Documents about Ronan Besson, Charles Bougrain, and Simon Gorodisha, the judge's first 3 victims. Intriguing. You shut the paper. It'll end up in the trash tonight. Well, that got us a clue. If you remember it's there. Otherwise it will spend the rest of its days in your glove compartment. Okay, that didn't take much time, actually. But I guess it's time. It's not spent making money. But we're right next to this little investigation spot. Let's go clear these three, I think. The police archives look like any other building in Paris. No sign, nothing to make it stand out, but this is where all the case files and criminal records are stored. You know the place well. For several months you spent a lot of time with the woman who directs it. She was a regular passenger, calling upon you almost every night, first as a driver and then... You could see her shape from across the street. You try to prevent your brain from going there, but it has a mind of its own. She is as beautiful as ever. You get out of the cab. You cross over to the sidewalk on the other side. Helena, I'm not going to lie, I was surprised by your request. She lights a cigarette. She still has that cold, distant look about her. But you know it's just a facade. You don't smoke anymore? You light a cigarette. The first swath of nicotine and gas from the lighter. Heaven. Don't smoke, kids. She runs her hand through her hair. Her wedding band shines under the street lamp. You're freezing. Listen, I'm sure you know I'm not allowed to give you this kind of information. But if what you said was true, then... You get the impression she's reaching for your side. Her hand brushes over your wound. You think about her body, her habits, and how she used to call you in the middle of the night. I fished around, and the first 3 victims were not part of the data leak. Shit. Shit indeed. That means the information about Besson, Bougrain, and the Argentinian one... Gorodisha. Yes, that's it. It all came from someone who had access to their criminal records. That help? You nod. Bits of ash from your cigarette sprinkle onto your pants. You attempt to smile. Yes, it's better than nothing. Moment of silence. Helena takes a drag of her cigarette like there's no tomorrow. She paces a bit to warm herself up. You should come over sometime. What do you think? You grin. You and Helena used to sleep together. Yeah, I kind of got that from your not-so-subtle hints. When things with her husband weren't so good. Yeah, why not? Let me just finish all this. Yes, of course. Give me a call when this is all over. She looks deep into your eyes. You look down. Her hands are shaking. One last smile, and she puts her cigarette out. You do the same. Probably not the best, but... Yeah. I don't know how well it would go if we just tell her to piss off. I've got to run. Need a taxi? It's very kind of you, but Bruno is coming to pick me up in a little while. Good luck. She reaches out to you affectionately, then stops. You decide to cross the street, to put some distance between you as quickly as possible. When you get to your cab, you hear her saying something. She's yelling from across the street. Also, you should stop smoking. It's bad for your health. You wave. She goes back into the archives. You get into your cab and rub your hands together. Time to get back to your shift. Okay. So, we know that these names came from someone who had access to criminal records. They weren't leaked. Maybe it's the cop that's putting us on. The judge is the one that's, actually killing everyone. That would be a twist. Have we got anyone important? No, let's just keep gathering clues. Well, there's Santa. We've got a good bit of cash, so I think we can stand to spend a bit more of the day investigating. 2 Paris Masons workers are talking loudly. They're pushing trash into the gutter. You have no desire to be in their place. Okay. Don't know what happened there. Let's try this one. Maybe that was just a dud. A bike courier rides past you. His big backpack, most likely filled with food, brushes against your side mirror. Why does it keep cutting off like that? Hello? There's a bug? Let's try again with this one, I guess. Out of nowhere, you hear a voice whispering in your ear. This is where I died. You brake hard. There is no noise in the cab, no noise outside. Ugh, the fuck? It's an actual ghost. A silhouette on the back seat of the cab. Its features appear one by one as if drawn with a paintbrush. So much suffering. You squint. A little boy. Would you be so kind as to drive me? Where? Very well. Let us drive then. The boy's silhouette flutters for a moment, then disappears entirely. You hold your breath. On the back seat behind you, the boy slowly reappears. You start driving. Silence fills the cab. You can't suppress the urge to glance in the rearview mirror. An odd smell wafts by your nostrils. Powder. Gunpowder. Like a dusty old cowboy just fired off 2 rounds right next to you. That smell. The smell of death. The killer's smell. He watches you. The killer? Almost nothing. This murder is a bit too recent, I must say. It's also new, too vague. The child in the back seat makes a strange little noise with his mouth, halfway between laughter and screaming. I'm going to tell you what I know. But don't forget, my friend. I am but a ghost. I'm in your mind. He raises his head a notch, chin straight. I'm not even a fossil. His voice suddenly changes, like a record skipping and jumping to another song. Sometimes I slip into the Jardin des Plantes, into the dinosaur gallery. The silhouette shivers. I am terrified of fossils. The person you're looking for left their country, but never let go of their weapon. The weapon is cherished, loved, respected, cleaned. It was a present. He shrugs his shoulders, like he's getting rid of everything he just said. Sad story, if I may. So sad. His shape flutters fades. You quickly find yourself alone in the cab. A smell of gunpowder lingers for a second, wafting around you before evaporating. Hands on the steering wheel, eyelids heavy, foot on the brake. You slow the taxi down to a complete stop. Another second and you'll be ready to go again. A wave of elation washes over you. You can't explain it. It is warm and calming. You smile, in spite of yourself. Okay, it's that fucking Casper the Friendly Ghost in our cab. That's a bit weird. Let's go actually back and investigate this, and maybe it will let me investigate it this time instead of cutting me off. A woman across the street in front of you carrying a baby realizes it's actually a big tomcat. You park a few streets away from the Argentinian embassy. You wait there for your contact. You sigh. It seems so odd to have a contact, so excessive. The guy is one of your regulars' poker buddies, a night watchman at the embassy. You get out of your taxi and walk towards the big metal gate. Clean lines, early 20th century maybe, lots of wrought iron. Gate open and someone moves towards you. They indicate you should follow them. The person's face is hidden by an oversized hoodie. Your heart starts beating faster. What if it was? You walk into a narrow covered passageway, probably the entrance to a parking garage. The man turns around and lights up a cigarette. The lighter lights up his face for a second. A young man with curly hair, pale skin. He looks young, very young. That'll be 250 euros. That's a lot of money, but... For that price, you hope the intel is good. You pay. Listen up, because I'm not going to say it twice. Gorodisha is definitely a colonel from the junta, one of the few who wasn't arrested and put on trial. He is responsible for torturing dozens of political opponents. He tortured and killed them. You know, we don't like him much here, but the rich Argentinians in Paris love him. They really respect him. Respected him. Is that all? I read in the newspaper that the killer wrote a message in chalk. Time's up. It was a slogan at the end of the junta. Sort of watchword from the opponents. There was someone who had something like that in their backstory. It's time for them to go. You get it? You nod. A second later, you're back in your taxi, the hole in your wallet with new information on one of the victims. If you follow this lead, maybe your investigation will move forward. You start the car and get back to your shift. Okay, we haven't got much brain power left. But this guy's nearby, so let's take this guy that's rich. Let's take this fabulous looking guy for a ride. $35. It's right over the other side of town, though. Refuse. Maybe we can find one that's a bit closer. So we can do more than one. Let's do creepy hat lady. We'll have to accept this one regardless, I think. She'll probably get me less money. Oh well. The person who's into the cab makes you feel immediately uncomfortable. Hard to say why exactly. Could it be that the fact that they're fucking staring at you and blinking like crazy? Perhaps the smooth plastic set of his features. Oh, it's him. Either way, we'll talk to Hat Man next episode, and where we'll probably put some more clues together and see if we can figure out who's our prime suspect. So, thank you all very much for watching. The pieces are starting to come together, I think. So we'll see what we can find out next episode. Goodbye.